Reading now from the Gospel of Jesus Christ according to Luke, chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. If you'd like to read along, you'll find it in your pew Bibles in the New Testament on page 110. Jesus went on into Jericho and was passing through. There was a chief tax collector named Zacchaeus, who was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but he was a little man and could not see Jesus because of the crowd. So he ran ahead of the crowd and climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus, who was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to that place, he looked up and said to Zacchaeus, "Hurry down, Zacchaeus, because I must stay in your house today." Zacchaeus hurried down and welcomed him with great joy. All the people who saw it started grumbling. "This man has gone as a guest to the home of a sinner." Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Listen, sir, I will give half my belongings to the poor. And if I have cheated anyone, I will pay back 4 times as much." Jesus said to him, "Salvation has come to this house today, for this man also is a descendant of Abraham. The Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." Jesus, look up. Look way up into the tree, and who do you see? In our gospel reading this morning, Jesus sees Zacchaeus. But just as easily, he might have seen you or me. Zacchaeus is a little man, short in stature. More important, he is short on vision. As rich as he is, as wise and shrewd, gifted and skilled as he might be, Zacchaeus has yet to discover what is truly important in this life. It's a lesson he has not yet learned. Still, he is curious. He wants to find a good vantage point from which to see Jesus and perhaps catch a glimpse of the God-centered and other-centered way of life Jesus came to teach. And so Zacchaeus climbs a tall sycamore tree. This well-to-do, impeccably dressed man climbs from branch to branch through dense foliage to gain a better sight of the spiritual guru about whom he has heard so much. Today, it would be like seeing Donald Trump climbing a light pole on Fifth Avenue, New York, to watch the St. Patrick's Day parade. One would think that this tree is no place for a man named Zacchaeus. In fact, you would think that tree climbing like that is something only a desperate sort of person would do. Someone who knows deep inside that he's gained the whole world, but somehow has forfeited his soul. Someone who has deep in his heart a yearning and a hunger that all the shekels in the world couldn't satisfy. But I don't think Zacchaeus climbs the tree that day looking for a change in lifestyle or outlook or fiscal practices. I don't think he sets out that morning from his house hoping to make a 180-degree turnaround. He's just curious, that's all. He wants to see what all the hoopla's about. Or maybe his curiosity is a sign of an inward emptiness and restlessness within. On the surface of his life, Zacchaeus has it all. He's probably even told himself many times he's got it all. He's known for strutting around town, giving off vibes of a man who has it all. Zacchaeus does not appear shaky or uncertain. There's a steely glint in his eye, a certain set to his jaw, a certain jutting forward of the chin that speaks of a man who has it all together, who knows what he wants and knows exactly how to get it, and who has, as a matter of fact, mostly acquired what he wants already. Now, some of us may admire Zacchaeus for what he's achieved. Some of us may think he deserves all that he has, no matter what he had to do to get it. After all, business is business, isn't it? Yet, not surprisingly, some of us here right now may be sitting in judgment of Zacchaeus. We condemn the tax collector for a life lived at the expense of others. Perched high on our own branches, trying desperately to catch our own vision of a better, more God-centered way of life, we find ourselves thanking God that at least we're not like him. But living in one of the most beautiful and plentiful counties in Canada, are we really any different than Zacchaeus? Did you know that if you have food in your refrigerator, clothes on your back, a roof over your head, and a place to sleep, you are richer than 75% of this world? Did you know that if you have money in the bank, bills in your wallet, and spare change in a dish someplace, you are among the top 8% of the world's wealthy? And so, compared to Zacchaeus, I ask again, are we really any different? Are we not also taking care of ourselves and our own at the expense of others around the world? Others who are forced to live and work in abhorrent conditions so that we might buy our commodities cheaper. And so how should we relate to this short little tree climber? Should we praise Zacchaeus as an accomplished entrepreneur, capable of providing for his own? Or do we condemn the man for his lavish, shallow lifestyle earned at the expense of others? It's a tough decision, isn't it? But maybe our choice ought not be between these two extremes. Maybe there's a third alternative. Maybe we ought to view Zacchaeus in his entirety, in his complexity, through the lens of him being in a process of change, of transformation. Maybe, like him, we too are curious, anxious to climb a tree. Maybe like him, we too are feeling a certain emptiness and restlessness inside. Maybe like him, we too are seeking to learn more about what it actually means to live a God-centered life. And based upon what we learn, to set again into motion our own process of transformation.